Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's time for Strat-O-Matic baseball. Washington Senators at Detroit Tigers today. We'll have Mike McCormick on the mound for Washington, Hank Aguirre on the mound for Detroit. Two left-handers, S6, S7, respectively. Let me go over a couple things before we get underway here. First, this disaster of a game yesterday. I had McMahon with 2 hits allowed. Change that. Bennett becomes the losing pitcher. And what I've done here is I've taken some steps to prevent the bench mix-up from occurring. Here, let me show you my situation here, my setup, if I may. Okay, it's a small, very small desk. And what I have done is, see, there's the starting lineup, and then this would be hitters, pitchers on the bench. What I'm going to do is now, this is going to be the visitor bench up here, hitters on top. Okay, that's the visitor bench. Over here on the right side, that's going to be the home bench. So that should prevent even me from screwing that up again. We'll give it a try. And then before, I was using this pull-out for my charts. And there's what I call the crap top, the borrowed one. But I brought these TV trays over, so I got my charts there now. And then there's my laptop, the one that was repaired. Okay, so I can reference to that, use it for reference. And then here I've got, of course, the stream. So, like I say, very small desk area. But I do think this division of the benches left and right will prevent another Kralik pitching against his own team situation going forward, hopefully. And hello, Jack Dawson. Welcome, sir. This is the post-hangover version of Sunday Strat-O-Matic, probably the ill-advised post-hangover, but I've got some chamomile tea here, and we're going to give it a shot. Had a really good time yesterday at my sister's. She made pasta carbonara and much wine was consumed, and I ended up spending the night there. I couldn't drive, it was wise not to drive, let's put it that way. So excuse me, here we go. Let me give you the lineups for today's game. 2 left-handers on the mound. For Washington, it'll be Fred Valentine in right field leading off. Ed Brinkman at shortstop, bats second. Ken McMullen will bat third and play third base. Frank Howard is the cleanup man in left field. Don Locke in center field, bats fifth. Ken Hamlin, the second baseman, batting sixth. Doug Camilli will do the catching and bat seventh. Jake Wood is going to play first base today rather than, this is only the third time I've ever deviated from the actual lineup, but I just got tired of messing around with Joe Cunningham, who only had 8 at-bats that year and was so awful. I can't even find a nameless card that would even be in the ballpark. So Wood's going to play first. He'll bat in the 8th spot. McCormick hits 9th. Kind of winging it, if you would say that. I mean, kind of winging it as I go. Not that often, though. So here's Detroit. Don Wirt at third base leads off. Jerry Lumpy will play second base and bat second. Norm Cash will bat third and play first base with Al Kaline in the cleanup spot, patrolling right field. Willie Horton will play left field and bat fifth. Bill Freehan will do the catching and bat sixth. Dick McAuliffe at shortstop hits seventh. Mickey Stanley in center field hits eighth. And Aguirre hits ninth. So for Detroit, pretty much their standard lineup. Let me give you a couple of numbers here. For Washington, so far on the season, they only have 2 home runs. Ken McMullen and Valentine have 1 apiece. For Detroit, McAuliffe has 3. Horton and Freehan 2 apiece. Kaline, Northrup, and McFarland 1 apiece. Norm Cash has yet to hit his first home run of the season. And thank you, Jack, I did. She made pasta carbonara. She'd never made it before, but she's an excellent cook. And she had it when her and her son visited Italy quite a few years ago and always wanted to make it. And she found a good recipe, and it was amazing. Just amazing. There was some shrimp served with that. As I said, much wine was consumed. So I chose to spend the night. This morning drove home in a very light snow. That's all gone now. It didn't stick. So we're about ready to get underway here in this one. And Aguirre is set. Aguirre, the left-hander. Valentine, switch hitter, will be batting right-handed against Aguirre. The other thing I need is a new set of reading glasses. Unfortunately, I will not be able to get insurance for those until after the first of the year. Okay, here we go. Valentine batting right-handed. Here's Aguirre, the windup. The pitch to Valentine, first pitch of the game, is going to be a 5-9 with a fly ball to left field. That's going to be playable for Horton. He'll put that away, and there's 1 out, and we're underway here. Third game of a 3-game series. These teams split the first 2. So the rubber game here, April 17th, 1966. That was a Sunday afternoon. About 15,500 in attendance on a cool Sunday afternoon in Detroit that year. And here's Brinkman now. Aguirre winds and deals. That's a 2-7 against the left-hander. That's a grounder down to short. That's going to be taken by McAuliffe, who throws across in time, and there's 2 down. And here's McMullen now. Ken McMullen, right-handed batter. Aguirre with the pitch. That's going to be a 6-8. Ball 4, he loses him. So McMullen with the 2-out walk here. Not an asterisk, a 15. Aguirre a -1. Freehan a cannon of an arm with a -3. So they're not going anywhere. It'll be very difficult to run today on Aguirre and Freehan. Not that you would want to try to run with Frank Howard coming to bat. Their best hitter. So Aguirre from the stretch now. The pitch to Howard on a 3-9, swung on and missed strike 3. So down goes Howard for the Senators. No runs, no hits, and they leave 1. And I'm still trying to adjust these glasses here. Bear with me, we'll get going here. And welcome Philip and Rhodes Scholar. Hope you guys are doing well. As I was saying at first, this is kind of the post-hangover version of Sunday Strat-O-Matic. Had a full night and spent the night at my sister's house. I was in no condition to be operating a motor vehicle. Okay, bottom of the first, just getting underway here. Glad you could join me. McCormick ready to work now. Here's Wirt. Right-handed batting third baseman. McCormick Gets the sign from Chameleon. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a 5-12 against the right-hander. Grounder to third base, X. And that's going to be McMullen, a 3E24. Here's the roll on the play. I'm wondering if I even have the right glasses here. That's an 8. That's going to be on the error range. So McMullen, what did I say he was? A 24 on the roll of a 9. And he makes the play. A fine play by Ken McMullen. So Wirt is retired. And here's Jerry Lumpy. Lumpy, you may remember, cost the Tigers a game by his inability to play a ground ball in the 9th inning. And here he is now. McCormick, lefty on lefty. Pitch to Lumpy is a 2-11. That's a tapper down to third. That's going to be McMullen again. He throws across in time, and quickly there are 2 away. And that'll bring up Norm Cash. Cash, as I mentioned, still looking for his first home run of the season. He hit 32 in real life. And here's the windup and the pitch from McCormick. That's a 1-6 swung on and missed, strike 3 in a 1-2-3 inning for Mike McCormick. Down go the Tigers, and we are scoreless at the end of an inning. And let me check. I'm going to see if I'm going to compare glasses here. It's only take a sec. Yeah, no, that's even worse. So I do have the right ones. Let me try to clean these off a little bit. Bear with me. Sorry about this. Yeah, I'm definitely due for new reading glasses. There's no question about that. All right, here we go. We will work with what we have. Don Locke will lead it off for Washington. And Rhodes Scholars for the Tigers. So Aguirre, you ready to work? Gets the sign from Freehand. Here's the pitch to Locke. On a 6-2 against the right-hander. That's a grounder to the pitcher, X. Aguirre, unfortunately, for Detroit is a 5E51. That does not sound good to me at all. And here's the roll on the play. On an 18, on a 5. Yep, he can't get to that, and that's going to be ruled a single. So a base hit off of the pitcher. And Locke is aboard here. We're going to call that single 1X. Locke, no threat to run. And man on first and nobody out. Here comes Ken Hamlin. Aguirre will work from the stretch now. And here's the pitch to Hamlin. On a 3-12 against the lefty. That'll be a ground ball to second. Lumpy dives. His only play is to first. He throws him out, and Locke will take second on the play. And here's Doug Camilli now, the right-handed hitting catcher. Man on second, 1 down. Here's the pitch from Aguirre. We've got a 1-9 against the lefty. That's a fly ball to left field. That'll be playable for Horton. Willie Horton makes the catch, and there's 2 down. And that'll bring up Jake Wood. Wood inserted into the lineup when Joe Cunningham was unable to go. And here's the pitch from Aguirre. On a 3-6, tapper down to short. Easy play from McAuliffe, and he throws him out. So no runs, a hit, a man left. We go to the bottom of the second, still scoreless. So So McCormick will get ready to work here in the bottom of the second. And it will be Kaline, Horton, and Freehand for the Tigers. I'll have a little sip of tea. Has anyone seen all the fuss about the new Strat-O-Matic Max yet? Looks kind of interesting. I signed up for the free trial beta version. I've yet to hear back from them. Anyway, as we move along to the second, bottom of the second, I should say, here's Kaline now. McCormick into the windup, and here's the pitch to the righty. On a 6-7, that's going to be a grounder to second base X. That will be Hamlin, a 3E34. 3E34. Here's the roll on the play on a 16 on a 3. Hamlin behind the bag. Makes the throw in time, and there's one down. So Hamlin throws out Kaline, and then we'll bring up Willie Horton. Horton's got some pop, too. In fact, this Detroit lineup could hit this season and pretty much throughout the 60s. They would go on to win the World Series 2 years later, of course. Here's the pitch from McCormick. And we've got a dice out, so that'll be a re-roll. Here's the next pitch to Horton on a 110 against the lefty. Fly ball to left field. That's playable for Frank Howard. Howard shades over a bit and puts it away. And here's Freehand. McCormick gets his sign. Here's the pitch to Freehand on a 6-8 against the right-hander. That's going to be into the left center gap, and Freehand's got a base hit. He's going to round first now and steam into second with a stand-up double. A 2-out double for Bill Freehand. Let's take a look at that. 6-8, double to 17. The roll is an 11. And here's McAuliffe now, left-handed batter. McAuliffe, as I mentioned, leads the Tigers in home runs so far this season with 3. And here's the pitch from McCormick. And on a 6-9, grounder to first. Play made by Wood, flips to McCormick covering, and that will retire the side. So no runs, a hit, a man left. And at the end of 2, we're still scoreless. And Yankee Bob is here. Greetings, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I feel like I've been having too many screw-ups lately, to be honest with you, but I'm trying to improve as we go along. Hopefully I will be successful in that area. So we've got the pitcher, McCormick, leading off the third inning for Washington. McCormick is a left-handed hitter, a 7 with end power, so McCormick can handle the bat, at least this season. Lefty on lefty, as a Gary winds and deals. And here it is, it's a 5-9, struck him out. So McCormick overmatched by a Gary. With one down, we'll head back to the top of the lineup. Fred Valentine, the switch hitter, batting righty. He flew out to left in the first inning. Aguirre, the sign from Freehand, and here's the pitch. 4-11. That's a grounder down to third. That's going to be Wirt. Easy play for Don Wirt, and he throws him out. Against a righty, right? Yes, sir. So a 5-3 put out, and that's 2 away quickly. And here's Brinkman. Brinkman, of course, known more as a slick fielding shortstop than he was a batsman. And Aguirre is ready to go. And here's the pitch on a 6-11. Well, how about that? Brinkman just goes with it and takes it into right field for a 2-out single. So Brinkman aboard. An asterisk 15, but he will not need to be held on with the combination of Aguirre and Freehand being a -4. That would make him a 1-11, not held. So there's no need for them to hold Brinkman on. Here comes Ken McMullen. Aguirre from the stretch now. Here's the pitch to McMullen. That's going to be a 6-10. That's a tapper down to first. Norm Cash has got it, and he's just going to take that one to the bag to retire the side. So no runs and a hit, one left. And we go to the bottom of the third, still scoreless. And Jack Dawson, baseball fan, sent 67, 68. You know, 68 is the first World Series, the oldest World Series that I have vivid memories of. I would say that was the year I really started getting hardcore into baseball. I went to a few games in 66, 67, but I wasn't really all that. I hadn't got the bug yet, let's just say. So bottom of the third, it's going to be Stanley, Aguirre, and Wirt for Detroit. No score in the ball game. Two left-handers pitching very well so far. McCormick gets the sign, and here's the pitch. On a 4-12, Mickey Stanley taps one back to the pitcher. That's on the X chart. McCormick a 4E0. And here's the roll on the play. On a 1, that's going to be a problem. That's going to get through and be ruled as a single. So they get past McCormick, can't make the play on, they'll rule it a single. And Stanley's aboard. Stanley, no threat to run. Let's check Aguirre and see how they might want to play this. Aguirre is C-bunter, so Washington's going to play back. With nobody out, Aguirre's going to try to lay one down. So here's the play on a C. The roll is a 10. And it's back to McCormick. He throws down to Hamlin. Back to first, not in time, so they get the lead man. Aguirre bunted it a little bit too hard. That'll be a 1-4 force. And Aguirre's on first with one down. So Aguirre fails to execute a clean sacrifice bunt. Runner on first and one down, and here's Don Wirt. Wirt bounced out to third base in the first inning, and now McCormick from the stretch delivers to the plate on a 1-4. That's going to be a tapper down to third. Wirt has it. Too lumpy. Back to first, not Wirt. This is, shoot, there I go again. McMullen has it to Hamlin, back to first, not in time. So that'll go 5-4 force. Aguirre is forced, and now Wirt's on first base, and there's two down. And here's Lumpy with two outs. Lumpy also grounded out to third. So, God, there's been 3 plays down to McMullen already in the game. And here comes the pitch from McCormick. That's going to be a 3-11 against a left-handed pitcher. That's a base hit into center field. That gets through up the middle. That's going to be an open single. Wirt can try to advance to third on that. Center fielder is Locke, a -2. Wirt a 12 with 2 outs of 14, -2, a 12. And he's not going to try to make the third out, or take the chance, rather, of making the third out of the inning at third base. So he'll hold up at second on the single by Lumpy. So first and second, 2 away. And not to mention the fact that look who's coming to bat here. It's none other than Norm Cash. So 2 ducks on the pond, 2 down, and a 2-2 count on Cash. And here's the pitch. On a 6-6, fly ball to center, playable. That's going to be Locke. He's right there, and that will do it. So Detroit, no runs. They had 2 hits, left 2. And after 3 complete, we're still scoreless. I'm going to have a little tea here. Okay, Aguirre getting ready to work. It'll be Howard, Locke, and Hamlin in the top of the fourth. As I said before, it sounds like kind of like a law firm, doesn't it? Howard, Locke, and Hamlin. Well, it may not be Hamlin McGill, but it's close. Gary ready to go now. The windup and the pitch to Frank Heller. 3-7. Grounder down to short. Playable. McAuliffe's there. Takes his time and throws him out. Frank a slow runner. McAuliffe plenty of time to make that play. And that'll bring up Don Locke. Locke singled in the second. One of only 2 hits in the game for Washington. Aguirre gets the sign from Freehand, and here's the pitch. On a 2-11, Locke grounds one down to third. That's going to be Wirt. Wirt, steady as they come, scoops it up and throws him out. And here's Hamlin now. Hamlin 0 for 1. Aguirre stares in and gets the sign, and here's the pitch to the right-hander. On a 2-5, that's going to be a single to 12, and that's going to find its way into left field, just eluding the glove of McAuliffe. And that will be a 2-out single for Ken Hamlin. Hamlin to 20. Again, nobody's messing around with the Aguirre Freehand combo today as far as taking any liberties on the bases. And Doug Camilli will hit away. Aguirre from the stretch, the pitch to Camilli on a 6-7, grounder down to short. That's going to be McAuliffe again. He's going to go the short way to second base to retire the side. So no runs, a hit, a man left on. We still have a scoreless ball game. As we go to the bottom of the fourth, Detroit will send up Kaline, Horton, and Freehand here against McCormick. Is that right, Bob? McCormick would go on to win the Cy Young in 1967. For Cincinnati? Would that be right? I know I think he went to Cincinnati at some point. I'm going to have to look him up now. We have McCormick, Cy Young, 4-time All-Star. No, he went to the Giants. San Francisco. I don't know where I got Cincinnati. Oh, sure, because he was there when I was talking to Jeffrey Guterman. We were doing the 69 Giants-Phillies game. It all comes back to me now. Bottom of the fourth. Here we go. McCormick's ready to work now. Here's Kaline, 0 for 1. McCormick, the windup, the pitch to Kaline on a 3-5. He taps it down to shortstop. That's going to be Brinkman charging. On the run, throws in time. And there's one away, and here's Willie Horton. Horton flew out to left in his first at-bat. McCormick set now. The windup, the pitch to Horton. On a 6-11 versus the righty. It's a fly ball to right field X. That's going to be Valentine. He's a 3-8. And here's the roll on the play. On a 1, that's going to be trouble. That's going to get down and get past Valentine. Horton rounding first. And he's going to be in there with a double. So Horton on second with 1 out. And here is Freehand. Freehand hit a double of his own in the second inning. Now looking to pick up Horton. No score in the ball game. Here's the pitch from McCormick. On a 6-10 to the righty. That's going to be a grounder down to third. McMullen has it, looks the runner back, and throws him out, and Horton will have to hold, and that's the second out of the inning. So it's going to be up to Dick McAuliffe if the Tigers are going to score, or if we're going to go into the fifth inning still scoreless. McCormick ready to work. Here's the pitch to McAuliffe on a 3-8, and he loses him, ball 4. So a 2-out walk to Dick McAuliffe puts runners on first and second, and that'll bring up Mickey Stanley. Stanley, 1 for 1. He singled in the third. McCormick in a little bit of a jam here. Stares in to get the sign from Camille. The pitch to Stanley on a 3-10, fly to right, playable. Valentine drifting a bit now and makes the catch to retire the side. So no runs, a hit. There was a walk, 2 left on. And we are indeed scoreless after 4 complete here at Tiger Stadium. A great afternoon for a ball game here at Tiger Stadium. I'm surprised there aren't more people out, but you know, the weather could have affected that. Cool and cloudy here. But all in all, a nice day for a game. It'll be Wood, McCormick, and Valentine here for Washington in the top of the 5th. Aguirre ready to work now. The windup, the pitch to Wood on a 1-5. That's going to be in the left center gap. That's going to be Stanley chasing it down. Wood rounds. He's going into second. Here's the throw. He's in there. So Stanley made it interesting, but Wood slides into second with a leadoff double. And with McCormick being an A bunter, Detroit's going to have to pull the infield in here. So the infield in and a 7-pitcher up. Gil Hodges is going to go ahead and let McCormick swing away. So Detroit pretty much expecting the bunt, and here's the pitch, and oh my God, he's swinging away, and he strikes out. So Gary fans McCormick for the second time this ball game. And that's the first out of the inning, and here's Fred Valentine, who's 0 for 2 today. Runner on second, 1 down. Here's the pitch from Aguirre. On a 6-11 against the right-hander. That's a single into right field. That's an open single. The right fielder is K-Line, however, a -4. Wood to score would be a 16. -4, a 12. Okay, let me think about that one. There's 1 away. No, he's going to hold up at third. So a base hit by Valentine. Wood chooses not to test the rifle arm of Al Kaline. He holds up at third. Runners on the corners, 1 down. Here's Brinkman, and that's interesting as well. Valentine an asterisk 17. The Aguirre freehand combination would make him a 13 not held. So do they hold the runner or do they pull the infield in? Brinkman is a B bunter. If they're thinking about putting a play on, they're going to choose to hold the runner and play at double play depth. The Tigers are looking for the double play here to get out of this inning. So from the stretch, here's the pitch to Brinkman. On a 5-7, ground ball to second base X. That might do it. That's lumpy, though. He's a 4-E8. We've seen this before. Doesn't make many errors, though. Here's the roll on the play. It's an 8. That goes to the error range. Lumpy, an E8. The roll is an 8. And look at that. Lumpy, behind the bag, on the move, flips to McAuliffe, back to first, double play. And just like that, Aguirre got what he needed. The 4-6-3 to retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, a man left. And we're headed to the bottom of the 5th, still scoreless. And Aguirre will bat. pitching a fine game. He's in S7. McCormick in S6. Aguirre, a switch hitter, so he'll be hitting right-handed against McCormick. McCormick ready to work now, and here's the pitch to Aguirre. On a 6-8, well, what do you know about that? Aguirre hits one into the left center gap, rounds first, into second, and Hank Aguirre has a lead-off double. So the one-hitting pitcher strikes for the leadoff double here at the bottom of the fifth, and the Tigers have something going. You kind of almost count that as an automatic out. Instead, there's a runner in scoring position, nobody out, and here comes the top of the order. So here's Wirt. Wirt 0 for 2 today. Here's the pitch from McCormick. On a 4-8, swung on and missed strike 3, and down goes Wirt on strikes. He's 0 for 3 today now. And here comes Lumpy. Lumpy, of course, started that excellent double play to end the top of the inning. He's 1 for 2. Lefty on lefty now as McCormick comes set, and here's the delivery. On a 5-7, ground ball to second, fielded there by Hamlin. He'll throw him out, and Aguirre will take third on the play. And with 2 down and a man on third, it's all up to Norm Cash again. Cash 0 for 2. McCormick set now. This needs to be over a little bit more, doesn't it? And here's the pitch to Cash. Hang on now, bear with me. That pitch is outside for a ball. Oh, shoot. I'm just knocking things over here. What is the deal with this thing? It doesn't like to be moved. Let's make sure we've got that in frame. Okay, there we go. That paperweight baseball is supposed to keep it from moving. Usually does the job. Sorry about that. Man on third, 2 down. Here's McCormick's next delivery to Norm Cash. On a 5-11 against the left-hander. High fly ball to right field. Back goes Valentine and makes the catch on the track. Oh, man, would you look at that. 5-11. Homer to 13, and the roll is a 17. So that's a loud fly out for Cash. Detroit's retired. No runs on a hit, they leave a man. And we're now scoreless after 5. So 2 left-handers in a 0-0 duel here so far as we move along to the top of the 6th. And it will be McMullen, Howard, and Locke. I'm taking a moment to have some tea and look at some of the chat. And that is, oh, and Phillips probably already started his game by now. Oh, there he is. And John says he was born in 1966. So that's kind of cool, right? Here we're playing 1966. McMullen, Howard, and Locke. Here's McMullen now in a scoreless tie, top of the 6th. The pitch from Aguirre. That's going to be a 6-9 against the right-hander. Swung on and missed strike 3, and down goes McMullen. And for Aguirre now, that's 1, 2, 3. That's his 4th strikeout of the game. And here's Frank Howard. Howard 0 for 2. Struck out in the 1st, bounced to short in the 4th. The pitch from Aguirre on a 2-10 against the left-hander. 2-hopper down to short, snared by McAuliffe. He throws him out, and there's quickly 2 away. And here's Don Locke now. Locke 1 for 2. And Gary gets the sign from Freehand. Boy, Bill's calling a hell of a game today, isn't he? And here's the pitch. On a 4-6, it'll be a base hit into left field for Locke. So for Locke, a 2-out single. No threat to run. And with 2 down, Hamlin will be the hitter. Ken Hamlin. Hamlin 1 for 2 also. A Gary from the stretch. The pitch to Hamlin on a 1-2. He hits a tapper down to second. Lumpy's right there and throws him out. So no runs, a hit, and they leave a man. We're moving to the bottom of the 6th, and that's right. We're still scoreless. Here's McCormick. He's done a fine job as well. He's scattered 5 hits. He'll be facing Kaline, Horton, and Freehand here in the bottom of the 6th. Well, that's interesting, John. I've done that too. I've tried the computer version pretty much every way you can. Different settings, computer rolls dice entered manually. Bottom of the 6th here now. It's Kaline. Kaline's 0 for 2. He's looking to get things going here. Or somebody needs to get something going. There's no score in the game. McCormick, the sign from Camille. And here's the pitch to Kaline on a 4-11. Kaline lines a base hit into left field to get things started here in the bottom of the 6th. So a leadoff single for Kaline. Let's check their hold on. McCormick, a -1. Camille is 0. So Kaline would be a 12 if he could get the lead. He will not be attempting it. And that'll bring up Willie Horton. So Kaline, a modest lead. McCormick, a glance over. And from the stretch, here's the pitch to Horton on a 2-9. Willie Horton. High fly ball to left field. Howard turns around, and he's just going to watch that one land halfway up the seats. And the Tigers are on the board 2-0 on a 2-run blast by Willie Horton. Oh, my. Let's take another look at that one, shall we? A 2-9. I think it was the last game or a recent game, he rolled that twice for a 2-home run game. Willie Horton does it again. And for Horton, let's take a look here. That's Horton's 3rd home run of the season. And here's Freehand now. The other 2 were in the same game, absolutely. And thank you, Bob. You too, sir. You have a great night. And you too, John, off to dinner. Have a great night. Here's Freehand now. McCormick delivers. It's going to be a 1-2 against the lefty. He hits him. McCormick hit by the pitch. McCormick seemingly coming apart here in the 6th. Hodges is going to get somebody up in the visitor bullpen. And that's going to be, let's see, they're going to have due up, lefty, righty. They're going to get Diego Segui up. Freehand on first on the hit by pitch. Still nobody out. And here's McAuliffe. McAuliffe 0 for 1, walked in the 4th. And here is the pitch from the stretch. That will be a 3-10 left-hander. It's a tapper down to first. Wood has it. Down to Hamlin. Back to first. How about that? The 4-6-3 double play. So with 2 down, it'll be Mickey Stanley hitting. 2-0 Detroit. They just broke through here in the bottom of the 6th on a 2-run homer by Horton. McCormick winds and deals. On a 6-7, it's a ground ball to second base X. That will be Hamlin. Hamlin, a 3E34. Here's the roll on the play. On a 19, that'll be an easy play for Hamlin. He's into the hole on the right side, picks it up, flips over to Wood, and that'll do it. But 2 runs, 2 hits. And at the end of 6 complete, on a 2-run blast by Willie Horton, it's Detroit 2, Washington nothing. Gary still sailing along as we move to the top of the 7th. Gary's an S7, so for him this would be his first inning of possible fatigue. I will take a very short break at the half inning for the 7th inning stretch. And it will be Camille, Wood, and the pitcher, the bottom of the order here for Washington, now trailing by 2. Aguirre, the windup, the pitch to Camille on a 6-6. That's into the gap, but it's cut off there by Stanley, who's going to hold him to a long single. So that looked like it had 2 bases written all over it, 6-6, double to 16. But Stanley's able to make a fine aggressive play and holds him to a long single. And that will bring up Jake Wood. In the 7th inning, Chuck Dressen's going to get someone up in the home pen. Let's see who he's going to be looking at here. It's a right-hander, the pitcher, switch right, so probably a righty. Gladding pitched in this game in real life. Could be Fox. I don't always go by who pitched in real life. On the other hand, Gladding looks pretty good, so we're going to get Gladding up. Gladding throwing in the home bullpen here. Let me get Fox back into the deck. So, runner on first, nobody out. And here's Wood. Aguirre from the stretch. Here's the pitch to Jake. On a 1-6, swung on and missed, strike 3. And Aguirre's still got enough to reach back for a little extra there and strike out Jake Wood. And Washington's going to send up a pinch hitter now for McCormick. So Mike McCormick's day is done. McCormick pitched 6 innings. 2 earned runs. He allowed 7 hits. Walked 1, also hit a batter. And he struck out only 2. So for the visitors, Segui will be coming on. And right now they need a batter. Versus Aguirre. Man on first, 1 down. On the Washington bench. Bob Savarin hit in this game in real life. Chance, a lefty. Kirkland, a lefty. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the real life recommendation in this case. And we're going to go with Bob Savarin. And every park I go to, that organist just loves that Green Acres theme. Pinch hitter for McCormick. Bob Savarin, a switch hitter. Excuse me. Let's take a look at Savarin. He hit .251 that year. Played quite a bit. So 1 down, a man on first. And here's Savarin now, hitting right-handed against Aguirre. Aguirre from the stretch. The pitch to Savarin on a 2-6, swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's 2 in a row for Aguirre, and down goes Bob Savarin. So with a man on first, there's 2 away now. It'll be up to Fred Valentine here in the top of the 7th. Senators trailing by 2. Aguirre from the stretch. The pitch to Valentine is a 6-12 tapper to the pitcher X, but that's a 5E51 for Aguirre. So this could be an adventure. Here's the roll on the play. On an 8, that does go to the error range. And on an E51, the roll of 7, and he boots it. No big surprise there, is there? So that'll go E1. That's the first error of the ball game. And that gives Washington runners on first and second. Valentine on first representing the tying run. And it'll be up to Ed Brinkman now. Aguirre checks in to get his sign from Freehand, shakes one off. Now nodding. From the stretch, here's the pitch to Brinkman. On a 2-12, ground ball to second base. That's going to be taken by Lumpy. And he throws him out to retire the side. So no runs, a hit, 2 left. There was an error. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Still 2-0 Detroit. And as mentioned, Diego Segui, the right-hander, is going to come on now and pitch for Washington here in the bottom of the 7th. Segui, a right-hander. I remember him from, I want to say, his Oakland days. A little bit later, a few years later. Leading 2-0. This is tough. Aguirre's pitched very well. Now, Aguirre is yet to allow a run. He's earned the right to stay in the game, and he's going to bat here to lead off the 7th. Aguirre is switch hitter. He'll be batting lefty against Segui. And here's the windup and the pitch. On a 3-5, that's a tapper down to short. That's Brinkman. Easy play for Eddie, and he throws him out 1 down. And that'll bring up Wirt. Wirt's 0 for 3 today. Diego Segui stares in to get the sign from Camille, the windup. The pitch to Wirt is a 2-6, and that's ball 4. He loses him. So Don Wirt takes first on the walk, 1 away. 13, no asterisk. He's going to stay put, and Lumpy's going to hit away. Lumpy's 1 for 3. Segui from the stretch now, the pitch to Lumpy. On a 3-10 to the right-hander. That's a base hit into right field. Wirt's going to keep on going and head right into third, and he's in there. So it's first and third on a 1-out single by Jerry Lumpy, and Lumpy's 2 for 4 today. And the Tigers have something going here in the bottom of the 7th. Runners in the corners on 1 out. Washington already trailing. Lumpy not a threat to steal. So Washington's going to bring the infield in here in the bottom of the 7th. They really don't feel they can afford to give up another one here. And here's Norm Cash now. Cash 0 for 3. Norm Cash has really been pretty quiet so far in this young season. You kind of get the feeling that he's ready to bust out at any time. Infield in, here's the pitch from Segui. On a 5-3, it's a fly ball to right field X. That'll be Valentine. He's a 3E8. So a fly ball towards the line. Here's Valentine. He's drifting over on a 10. That roll is an 8 on an E8. And he makes the catch, but that's going to be deep enough for Wirt to tag up and score. So Wirt tags up and comes in on a fairly deep fly ball by Norm Cash. So that's going to go sacrifice fly 9. That's an RBI for Cash. Lumpy will hold at first. And it's 3-0 Detroit. 2 away now. And here's K-Line, 1 for 3 today. Segui from the stretch now. Here's the pitch to K-Line. On a 6-8, that's a base hit into right field. Rounding is Lumpy. He's headed into third, and he'll make it standing on the single by K-Line. And it's first and third again. 2 down. Willie Horton, who had that big monster 2-run homer in the 6th, he's 2 for 3 today. Segui getting cuffed around a little bit now. Part of it's his own fault. He did walk a batter. He's given up 2 hits. There's 2 outs, runners at the corners, and here's the pitch to Horton. on a 5-10. That's a grounder to shortstop X. Brinkman pretty steady down there at a 2E29. Here's the roll on the play. On a 15, Brinkman's got it, and he's going to throw him out, and that will retire to the side. So nice play by Eddie Brinkman. But Detroit picks up another run on 2 hits. They leave a pair, and they take a 3-0 lead into the 8th. Oh, and I said I was going to take a break, didn't I? And I do have to. I'm going to need to use the facilities here. So a short break here as we go into the 8th inning, and I will be right with you. And we are back. Okay, everybody. Let's see what else I had pulled up here on the other laptop. League earned run average in 1966 was 3.52. League batting average in 1966 was 249. That was the major league average for that season. That kind of helps put things in perspective. So in the top of the 8th, it's going to be McMullen, Howard, and Locke. Gary's still out there with a 3-0 lead. He's probably going to be allowed to go for the shutout. Gladding has stopped throwing now, but he's still standing down there observing. And here's McMullen now, Aguirre into the windup. And here's the pitch. On a 2-9 against the lefty, that is going to be a base hit up the middle for Ken McMullen, and he's got himself a leadoff single here in the 8th. So Aguirre gave up a single last inning, but quickly struck out 2. And here's big Frank Howard now. That extra insurance run looking big for Detroit. Let's check the speed of McMullen. I'm sure he doesn't have much. No, McMullen no threat to steal. From the stretch, here's Aguirre's pitch to Howard. On a 6-10 to the right-hander. That's a grounder to first. Cash has it down to Lumpy, back to first, not in time. That's a forced play. They'll go 3-4 force, and now Howard is at first base, and there's a 1 away. And here's Don Locke now. Locke's 2 for 3 today. Aguirre, 5 outs from a complete game shutout. As he gets the sign from Freehand, here's the pitch from the stretch. That's a 4-8. That's going to be a liner speared by McAuliffe. What do you know about that? So Locke hits it hard, but right at the shortstop, and there's 2 down. And here's Hamlin now. 2 down, a runner on first. Howard, the runner, very, very slow. And here's the pitch from the stretch to Hamlin. That's going to be a 6-8. And that's ball 4. He loses him. So Howard takes second on the walk. Hamlin jogs down to first. 2 away. Another hitter walk will retire Aguirre. Gladding's ready to come in. Here's Camille. Aguirre yet to allow a run. He's going to be allowed to face him. Here's the pitch. That's a 5-5. Grounder to shortstop X. That's McAuliffe, 3E28. Here is the roll on the play on a 19. McAuliffe has it. Flips to Lumpy, back to first, double play. No, I'm sorry, there's no double play. McAuliffe has it, that's the 3rd out. Excuse me, what the hell am I doing? There's already 2 outs. So Camille, let's look at that again. 19 on a 3 shortstop, ground ball A. So he's retired. No runs a hit, 2 left. There was a walk in there. And Aguirre makes it through the 8th unscathed. We go to the bottom of the 8th, still 3-0 Tigers. Let me catch up on the chat here. One more game. Thanks for dropping in, Philip. I do appreciate it. You know that. Bottom of the 8th, it's going to be Freehan, McAuliffe, and Stanley. Segui still out there. And Segui gets ready to work. Here's the windup and the pitch to Freehan. On a 5-9, grounder to shortstop X. That's going to be Brinkman, 2E29. Here's the roll on the play. On an 18, that'll be an easy play for Brinkman. He's up the middle, scoops it, throws on the run in time, and there's 1 away. And here's McAuliffe now. McAuliffe 0 for 2 today. Segui into the windup. The pitch to McAuliffe on a 1-5. That's going to be a base hit the opposite way into left field. So a 1-out single for Dick McAuliffe here. And that'll bring up Mickey Stanley. Lefty's coming up. That's going to get the visitor bullpen busy here. They're going to get a left-hander out, Dick Lines. Okay, a runner on first, 1 down, and here's Stanley. Segui from the stretch. Here's the pitch. That counts. It's a 3-7. Fly to left field, playable. Frank Howard barely has to move and puts that one away. And with a man on first and 2 out, Aguirre's going to be allowed to bat. He's going to be allowed to go for the shutout. And here's the pitch from Segui on a 4-9. The switch hitter hitting lefty. Swung on and missed strike 3. So Aguirre strikes out. No runs a hit, a man left. And Detroit is going to the 9th inning with a 3-0 lead. And Hank Aguirre is looking for a complete game shutout. So a fine game by Aguirre at S7. It'll be Wood, the pitcher's spot, and Valentine due up for the Senators. Yeah, I get it, Bob. I had a hard time making up my mind, too. I started with the 162 because I wasn't quite ready to make that kind of a commitment. And then I went, what the hell am I thinking here? I need to get a full season going. I'll tell you one thing about a full season. You get a more variety of games on a daily basis. Different players. I like it better. I'm enjoying the 66 full team replay more than the 74 Dodger replay. That is a fact. That's about all I can say. So here's a Geary now, leading 3-0. He's looking for a shutout here. Wood, the pitcher spot, and Valentine standing in his way, and here's the pitch to Wood. That's going to be a 4-5 to the right-hander. Fly ball to right field, that's playable. K-line's right there, and that's one down, and now we're going to have a pinch hitter. For Segui. Segui worked 2. Gave up 3 hits, 1 run, walked 1, and struck out 1. And against the lefty, let's see what they've got. Looking at the Washington bench now. And most of their bench is left-handed hitters. Casanova's a righty. Kirkland, I'm sure, is a lefty. Lefty. The only righty on the bench is the other catcher, Paul Casanova. So that's what we're going to go with here. Paul Casanova will pinch hit for the pitcher. Casanova, a fine defensive catcher. Aguirre into the windup. Here's the pitch on a 6-5. And that's going to be a double. 6-5 homer to 13. He is a weak. But on a roll of a 16, he gets the double. So Casanova comes off the bench with a 1-out double. Casanova is awfully slow, but on the other hand, his run doesn't mean that much anyway, so they're not going to bother with a pinch runner. Instead, it will be Fred Valentine. Valentine, a switch hitter, batting from the right side. Aguirre stares in to get the sign from McAuliffe. And here's the pitch. That's a 2-6 high fly ball to deep left field. Back goes Horton to the track, to the wall, and Fred Valentine has just hit a 2-run home run, and we've got a 3-2 ball game. Holy crap, let's take another look at that. Switch hitter, 2-6 to 16, it's a 2. And Casanova scores, and it's 3-2. And here comes Dressen now. He was allowing Aguirre to go for the shutout. But now that we've got a 3-2 game with 1 out, Detroit's going to go to the pen. Brinkman, McMullen, and Howard. Okay, so they've got Gladding warm. They've also got, let's see, who was their big save guy that year? That was Sherry. Pena had a few saves. They're going to go with the man who's already been warming. It's going to be Fred Gladding coming on here. Aguirre manages to go 8 1/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. 2 runs. He had a shutout going into the 9th. 1. He only walked 2. And struck out 6. And coming out of the home pen, it's Fred Gladding. Gladding going to try to save this one for Detroit. He had a 3.28 in 74 innings of relief that year. 3-2 ball game. 1 out in the 9th. Base is empty. Here's Eddie Brinkman. Gladding ready to work now. Here's the windup and the pitch to Brinkman. On a 4-7, fly to center, playable. That's going to be Mickey Stanley. He's right there and makes the catch for the out. And the Senators are down to their last out in the form of Ken McMullen. And in this young season so far, we've already seen this happen before, haven't we? McMullen with a dramatic home run. I think it was a game tire or possibly even a game winner for Washington. Gladding staring in now, gets the sign from Freehand. 2 down in the ninth, 3-2 Tigers. The windup, the pitch to McMullen. A 2-5 against the right-hander, and he draws the walk. So the tying run is on base now with 2 down. McMullen's very slow. I'm not sure they would try to steal anyway. Let's look at the Washington bench. They don't have any speed down there, so there's not much I can do for them there. It's all up to Frank Howard. So a runner on first, McMullen, 2 down from the stretch. Here's Fred Gladding's pitch to Frank Howard now. On a 3-10, and he walks him. Oh my God, 2 walks by Gladding. He came in and got the fly out of Brinkman. But now he's walked 2. The tying run is in scoring position. The go-ahead run on first base. And here's Don Locke. Freehand out to the mound to have a little chat with Gladding. The home fans are getting a little nervous here now, and I can't say I blame them. First and second, 2 down. The Tigers hanging on 3-2. Gladding set now. The sign from Freehand, and here's the pitch to Locke. On a 2-9, swung on and missed strike 3, and that's the ball game. So whatever Freehand and Gladding were going over there, they executed it to perfection. The Senators make it exciting by plating 2 in the ninth, the 2-run homer by Valentine. But there's your final, another close one here. 3-2 Tigers. Let's check the records now. Let's see what that does. That would make Detroit, that makes the Tigers 4-2 on the young season. The Senators drop to 1-3. Let me tidy up the totals here. 3-2 your final. Gladding 2/3 of an inning. He does get a save on that. But Geary the winner. McCormick takes the loss. Gladding no hits, 2 walks and a K. No runs allowed. So for the Tigers, they had 3 runs on 10 hits. They made an error. For the Senators, 2 runs on 9 hits, no errors. And that's your final here from Detroit on a Sunday afternoon where the Tigers nipped the Senators 3-2. Tomorrow's game, I'm going to stick with this 2:15 time slot for a while. I'm still playing around with the time slot. That's going to be the conclusion of the 3-game series between the Chicago Cubs at the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Sandy Koufax will be on the mound for Los Angeles tomorrow. So please tune in for that one. It's always fun to use the Koufax, any of the Koufax cards. 66, another great one. So thanks again for joining me, guys. I want to wish you all a very pleasant Sunday evening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be talking to you down the road. Take care, guys.